Drop a quick tip on you guys on Aaron, what's up? Jacoby, my man, what's going on, dude? So we're gonna talk real quick about how to dominate your sales calls. Pretty cool stuff.
No Chanel, Nike track, doing roll with some waps, and that's capo in the back, and that's roll in the back, in the lala, word of Zach. I need action, that's a fact. I style, no stylish.
Real quick, I only have about 10 minutes to jump on here. Devin, what's up, man? I'm gonna talk to you guys about, Jared said, hey, I'm walking here. Jacoby, what's up, what's up, what's up? Muhammad. So real quick, I want to talk to you guys about how to dominate on your sales calls and some of the most common mistakes that, despite all the courses and the trainings out there, I continuously see agency owners make time and time again. Kind of frustrating to watch from my perspective. Rashred, what's up? I don't know if I got that name right. Again, if I mess up your guys' names, I'm pretty bad with them, so don't hesitate to call me out. Anyways, so one of the biggest mistakes, sorry. And I'm not saying this is the only thing that people mess up on their sales calls, because there is a plethora of things that people mess up on. But one of the biggest things is most of you guys and most agency owners, when they're talking to business owners and they're going through their sales process, you guys are operating from a place of beta. Most of the time, you guys are what we call the beta in the conversation. You are not operating from a place of authority, from a place of power. Most of the time you're operating from a place of scarcity. You're almost seen as a salesperson, right? Like you're just obviously blatantly trying to sell something to somebody. And the way to fix that is, what you guys need to be focusing on is how you can reverse that and instead operate from a position of power. Nikos, what's up? And from a position of authority, because the only time you can actually consistently close deals, and guys, I'm not saying, like, what I mean by that is some people can close a deal here and there, but to have a sales process that you can actually rely on and that gives you what we call predictability in your ability to enroll new clients, you must be the one who is the authority on the call, right? Because if not, then you're always going to be number two. Right? And typically what happens, a telltale sign of who's the number one, quote unquote, and who's the number two in the conversation is who's asking the questions, right? So a lot of times I see agency owners and I hear their sales calls, right? And throughout the call, the client or the prospect is continuously drilling them with questions. Things like, well, hey, how long have you been in business? Where are your case studies? How do you run the ads? Which is the dumbest question that could ever possibly be asked, because they're like trying to tell you how you should do your job as a marketer, which is just absurd. They ask you things like how many people have you worked with? How many people do you have now that you're working with? Like all this stuff. And what I call it job interviewing. Like you guys, a lot of times you end up getting job interviewed by your prospects, which is the worst thing you want to have happen to you on your sales calls. Because again, what that does is it puts you in the beta position. It puts you as the number two. And if you're the number two, then you'll never be able to close a deal, because the prospect is never going to look at you as the person, as the leader in this situation, right? So you guys are probably wondering, okay, well, how the hell do I position myself as the leader and as the authority? So there's a ton of ways, ton of things you can do, right? The very first thing, very first thing, is how you actually open up your sales calls, right? So a lot of people will open up their sales calls in a way where they are not positioned as the authority and they're just more nonchalant, laid back, which you can still be, but in the right frame, right? So, yeah, Nico said, send examples of your work. Exactly, man. Prospects say the dumbest shit in the world. And if you don't know how to handle it, then you just get crushed on your sales call. That's why most agency owners don't close, because they just get demolished by their prospects. They just, quite frankly, get run over. So again, starting from the very beginning of the sales call, like the tip top of the iceberg, As soon as you guys get on the phone, you have to be the one that's establishing the frame and what I call like the premise of the conversation, right? They need to understand why you guys are actually talking. So I'll give you guys an example. Now, again, you can have a wide array of variations on this. You can say this in a multitude of ways. Evans, what's going on? Ryan, what's up, man? Oops, someone's dropping something above my apartment. So this is one way to open up your sales calls that will establish you as the power player, as the authority figure. You can say something along the lines of, cool, so, let's say their name is John. John, if you're ready to get going, I'm ready when you are. John says, ideally, he says, yep, cool, let's do it. Okay, perfect, John. I know you guys can say a variety of things. I know you probably get on a ton of sales calls with agency owners. You probably get pitched by marketing agencies all the time. So I'm just going to give you an idea of the purpose of today's call and what my goal and objective is. And then again, at this point, there's a variety of things you can say. You can say something along the lines of, really, for me, I just want to get a deep understanding of your business, your goals, where you're looking to take the business, and some of the struggles that you're currently facing to get there. And only if I see an opportunity for me to come in and potentially plug up those operational holes and those leaks, then we could talk about what that looks like. But for now, I just want to learn more about you and your business. Sound good? Cool, right into it. So again, that's one way. Now, there's a couple things to take away from that. First thing is, guys, if you noticed, it doesn't sound like a tyrant. It's not like, okay, so listen, this is how the call is going to go. And like, if you don't do this, then we're just going to end the conversation and you got to do blah, blah, blah. No, nobody likes to be spoken to that way, right? Remember, you guys are dealing with businesses, not, children, right? That you have to like talk down to. You don't want to do that because then it's just going to invoke a negative emotion and they're not going to, quite frankly, not going to like you that much from the get-go, which is not a good thing. Dondre, what's up, man? Glenn, what's going on? James Jones, the man, the myth, the legend. Killing it right now inside Agency Hypergrowth. So anyways, guys, that is one way to open up your sales calls. Another thing you guys can do to really establish yourself as the authority figure, and this is hugely, massively important. Okay, listen very closely, guys. Pay attention to this. Okay, John, what's going on? Where a lot of you guys mess up is you are not only are you not controlling the conversation overall, even more specifically and importantly, a lot of times you guys aren't controlling what I call the pace of the conversation. Now let me explain. So a lot of times you might be going through your sales process, you're asking them the questions you want to ask them, and then out of the blue, the prospect asks you a question, tries to throw the conversation back on you and, as I call it, job interview you, and it throws off your pace, right? And they want to speed things up. Like you might be talking about their sales process, and then they might ask you a question about, how do you run the ads, right? Which is just totally random, and prospects do that stuff because they're really fucking dumb, right? Now, where amateurs mess up and where a lot of you guys are probably messing up as well is you give in to that pressure. So the pressure is them asking you a question and wanting an answer, right? So they'll ask you something that's maybe not necessarily related to what you're talking about, or it doesn't quite fit into your sales process at that particular time, yet you'll go ahead and answer the question, right? So like they might ask you about it and then you'll just start rambling on and on about how you run ads, right? And then 99% of the time, the conversation is blown. Matthew, what's up? Forrest, what's going on? So the way that professionals do it and the way you guys need to start doing it is control the pace of the conversation. So not just being the authority, right? Controlling the pace, because if you can control the pace, you will be seen as the authority. So that's kind of the byproduct of it. So what you can do is if a prospect asks you something that might be throwing off your sales process and your sequence of your sales call, right? Simply just, again, be cool, nonchalant. It's the biggest takeaways. Don't ever get too stressed out. Don't get too frantic and be like, well, we run ads, and start talking really fast. And you don't want to do that. What you want to do is just be calm, cool, and be like, yeah, we can definitely talk about that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Just want to continue talking about whatever it is you're talking about. So, for example, if you're asking them about their sales process, right? And they ask you a question about like how you guys get results or whatever, and it throws you off, instead of saying, well, we do this, and that, say, yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Before we do that, I just want to make sure I have a full understanding of your sales process. So can you tell me a little bit more about how that, or what that looks like? Does this make sense so far, guys? If not, let me know in the comments. Brian, oh shit. Brian Ostermiller's on the live, dude. You're supporting me? I appreciate it, man. So Let's see, any comments, any questions, any concerns? Charlene, what's up? Let me know if this is making sense to you guys. If not, if you want me to kind of clarify on something, let me know. Anyways, guys, let's see, what time is it? All right, I got to get off here in like 3 minutes. So again, biggest takeaway, where a lot of you guys are messing up right now is you're going through your sales calls and you are the beta. Okay, you're the number 2. You're not in a position of authority. You're not controlling the conversation, okay? And as a result, you go through your whole sales process, or what you think is a great sales process. The client doesn't buy from you, and then you go out, you end the call and you're just wondering like, what happened? And you're just not seen in the right light. So Rashid, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He says, quick question, my niche is e-commerce and I'm having a hard time on LinkedIn. Should I find a new niche? Yes, you should, because e-commerce is an extremely difficult niche to target on LinkedIn. So yeah. Evans said, do you get objections to the frame? Do you get objections when establishing the frame? Gotcha. That's actually a great question. So no, at this point I don't. And the reason why is because I've done it so many times, and not only have I done it so many times, but I've had the proper guidance. Like I've had people critique me so many times that instead of me doing the same thing for 6 months and not realizing that my sales process was all jacked up, I was able to have people come in and say, hey, that's where you're fucking up. That's where you're saying the wrong stuff. And dude, your comments are throwing me off, bro. It just like pops up and I have to look at it. Anyways, to answer your question, Evans, so luckily I was able to have people come in and say, dude, like you suck, stop saying that, or like say this instead, or do this instead, or here's what you need to be focusing on. And I was able to improve my sales process a lot faster. Hence, at this point, I don't really get too many objections. However, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. So Brian is correct. Every once in a while, like this isn't bulletproof. This isn't like, it's not a situation where no matter what happens, you're always going to have this work, right? Because you are going to get people that, again, don't mind the sirens. You are always going to get people that are just really in their own head. They're just full of themselves. They're just, quite frankly, assholes. And sometimes what you try and do doesn't work. So Donovan, what's up? What's up? What's up? Gilberto, what's going on? Michelle, what's up, everybody? Let's see. Shred said, last one, what are some of the niches you recommend? Dude, there's so many industries out there. I get this question. I don't know how many, dude, Brian, if you're still on here, I don't know how many times you and I get this question. It's actually kind of ridiculous. What niche do I go into? There are literally hundreds of industries. Donovan, if you're watching this too, we talk about this a lot. Any niche is pretty much a good niche. Like there aren't too many industries out there except for like some really weird miscellaneous ones that I would say like don't go after those because you absolutely can't get clients and you can't get results. There's very few of those, which means in turn, most niches you can get clients in and you can see success in. So I would do some research, man, and just start going after a couple and see what works. Miles, what's up? So, do you guys have any questions? Anything that you're confused on about what I just talked about the sales process? Yep, some niches are harder for sure. That is 100% a fact. Yep. Cool. We got about 17 people on here. If you guys are watching this now, I want you guys to just drop a comment and say anything you want. Give me a hashtag live. Give me a hashtag agency, sales, whatever the fuck you guys are feeling. And let me know you're alive and that I'm not talking to some zombies. So, anyways, again, quick recap before I jump off here. Ooh, Jason just asked a great question. I love that one. Brian, you can answer this as well in the chat. I wish we could do like a joint live on mobile. That'd be pretty cool. Facebook should add that feature in. I think Instagram does that. But anyways, so Jason said, what about if you're new and they ask for your credentials? That's a great question, man. Dude, I love that. Okay. So, Brian, you're throwing me off, dude. Stop with the ridiculous comments. So again, what if you're new, right? Some of you guys are new. You don't really have too much experience in the agency world. What if you're new and a client asks for your credentials, right? Here's what most people will tell you. Here's what most coaches and gurus are going to tell you. Say this, and this one line is going to save you. Yeah, so much for that. So lines and specific things to say are not going to save you, okay? What's going to save you is two things. One, understanding why they're asking that question in the first place. Why are they asking for your credentials? Typically, why does somebody ask for your credentials? They probably don't trust you, right? So what you should be asking yourself, Jason, is how can I increase my ability to gain somebody's trust faster? And there's a multitude of ways to do that. One quick way, very subtle but very powerful, is talking slower. Like, it's very subtle. It's not a fancy line. Just talk slower. Like, don't change anything you say just yet. Just literally slow down in the way you talk. And I guarantee you people will start to trust you more. Okay. Again, there's a multitude of ways to increase your ability to gain somebody's trust quickly without being manipulative, right? That's the thing. You don't want to be manipulative. You don't want to steer people in the wrong way. That's not what we're doing here. Devin said, what are some of the major keys to get them on the phone? Dude, you're in agency hypergrowth, man. You should know that already. Brian said, I'm thinking about only going for dentists, plastic surgeons, and lawyers in Manhattan. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. George, what's up? What's up? What's up? Junior, what's going on? All right, so we got some activity on here. So, guys, I'm going to hang out on here with you savages for another, 3 minutes, 5 minutes-ish. So, drop some questions. Just going to open this up real quick to a quick live Q&A. If you guys have any questions about anything, sales-related, agency-related, whatever it is, niche stuff, anything, here to help you guys out. Again, focus on being the authority. Ooh, another tip while you guys come up with some questions. Real quick, I just remembered. Where a lot of you guys also mess up, big time, is you try to rush through your sales calls, right? So your pace is way too fast. Way too fast. Like, you guys need to focus on slowing down your sales calls. Now, I don't necessarily mean slowing down the way you talk, which is important too. You also need to focus on that. Brian, dude, every time you comment, my brain just gets like jargled. I don't know what it is, bro. Like, you got to chill out, dude. No, I'm just messing with you. So, anyways, guys, again, a lot of times you guys rush through your sales calls. You're just going through your process and your questioning just way too fast. So you guys need to be comfortable with slowing things down, right? Giving some pauses in between when you speak. Don't pick up the pace. Yeah, exactly, man. You want to keep things slower, actually, because it's what that's going to allow you to do is really, get a really solid understanding of their situation and what they're really trying to say. Excuse me. Just burping like a motherfucker. Brian said, what's going on this Saturday? I don't know. Stay tuned, guys. Today's Monday. We'll have an announcement for you on Thursday. Stay tuned. Pretty cool stuff coming. So again, guys, establish yourself as the authority. Open your sales calls up in a way where you're the one who's positioned as the person in control. You're the person in power, right? Because you're controlling where the conversation is going. You're telling them how the call is going to go without being a tyrant, without being an asshole, okay? Number 2, focus on controlling the pace of the conversation, okay? Again, do not let them throw you off your pace. If they do, just recalibrate and keep moving on, okay? Cool, calm, collected is the key. Devin said, what metrics are the most important to track? It's a good question, man. We might save that for another live video, but what you really want to focus on, what are the lead indicators in your business? What are the lag indicators? What are the things that are going to drive the most revenue for you? I can tell you guys from personal experience, Brian can also vouch for this. As someone who went from doing 8 to 10K a month about 3-4 months ago to now on pace to do 60 this month, I can tell you that focusing on revenue generating activities is much more important than you think. Much more important. I can't tell you how many people are doing stuff that's literally making them $0. What's up, Ethan? What's going on, everybody? So again, really, man, you need to focus on the revenue generating activities. That does not mean go and focus on building your website. That does not mean go and focus on getting business cards, going to networking events. Anything that's not putting money in your pocket, anything that's not driving revenue and getting you closer to getting clients is not what you should be doing, okay? Correct, man. Income producing activities, 100%. Alrighty, anyways, guys, I gotta bounce. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Always here to help you guys out. And yeah, stay tuned. We got something pretty cool coming for you guys on Thursday. Peace.